Hello guys and welcome to 𝐒𝐲 𝐔𝐊. Today I have the great honour of sharing with you my unboxing and first impressions of Contact Simulation's soon to be released Raptor Range. Contact Simulations were kind enough to send me both their Raptor Mach 1 HOTAS bundle and their Raptor Mach 2 flight stick. The Raptor Range from Contact Simulations is a budget option intended to serve PC players with a quality flight sim experience at an affordable price. Now I won't know for absolute certain how well they have achieved this goal until I have had time to test them thoroughly. So this video will constitute the unboxing and my first thoughts of each of the devices regarding their build quality and any areas of merit or concern regarding design or ergonomics. A full and thorough review will follow on soon, where I will examine each device in more detail, ensuring that I use them in a variety of simulators and games. I will of course explore any potential issues that I highlighted during this unboxing video, and should you have any specific queries you want to know the answer to, then as always, please do ask me in the comments section below. I will make sure that I cover it in the review. Now, I apologise before we start for the quality of one of the cameras used in this unboxing. I had configured it in a way to achieve a certain result, but it failed to transpire. But you can only unbox one time, so I've had to use that camera footage. Much of what you see here today will be my knee-jerk reaction based on my many years of experience as a hardcore sim fan and as a sim reviewer. This of course means that I can be proven wrong, and I'm very happy for that to be the case. Let's jump in and see what they have provided. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a look at this. It's got a reasonably decent hand position, I've got to say, and a very, very smooth action on it. It's got like 1,000 and something odd positions of throttle acceleration, which is good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. Not sure if these are buttons or whether that's just the hat switch. We have an adjuster here, which again, I don't think is a button. And one on the outside here, which again, I don't believe is a button. But the action is incredibly smooth. Really, really smooth. No problem at all with that. And it doesn't move at all. It sticks to the desk. I can be as violent as I like with that, and it moves, but it doesn't twist. Very difficult for me to twist it about on the desk. Very much going to stay where it's supposed to be. No problem really at all with that. And on this side, you can see that we've got the force adjuster. Bring the camera in nice and close here. You can see that put it set to maximum, and you can really feel the tension coming off. So that's absolute minimum, and that's still very smooth, very light. Well, that's the first time it's done that. I think with your weight on it, it probably won't do that so much. Now, this area here for me is completely wasted. I'm not sure why it has to be so big. It's very plasticky. very hollow feeling. I'm not sure I like it, to be honest with you. But I've got a Logitech X56 HOTAS, and the tension on that is awful, really bad. This feels much better, much smoother, far more consistent. I don't think I'm going to have problems with that. That's as tight as I can get it. It's not super resistant, but it does add a bit of resistance, and it is very smooth. Unlike the Logitech, which becomes jumpy and glitchy when you adjust that. One thing we've got at the front here is this USB port. Now I'm not entirely sure what that's for at this moment in time, but I'm sure it will become evident in time. I don't like this. I no longer like it. I never accept this as being acceptable. In the trailer they say it gives it more rigidity, longer lasting, but it's not. If this cable ever gets broken for any reason, this whole device is useless. Detachable USB cables is the only logical way forward. I don't want to see any other devices launch with this ever again. I hate it. I mean, these initial looks, I haven't plugged it in and started playing with it yet, but I will do. Some nice details on there, Foxtrot, Romeo, Tango, Echo, Charlie. But I do feel like this is a bit of wasted space. As much as I like the orange accessory here, I think it's very nice. Maybe a couple of switches or buttons on there would be good. As far as the buttons go, I mean, this is a budget device, and these especially feel very budget. And the buttons as well feel really quite budget oriented, but I also suspect they're going to be quite precise, if that makes sense. Sort of like along the lines of, yes, they went for the cheapest, not the cheapest option, but a cheaper option of button and dial, etc. But not so cheap that it's not going to be effective and reliable, if that makes sense. So good quality at a low price, and I think that's a good analogy for this entire device, which feels pretty good, I've got to say, pretty good indeed. So here we have the Mach 1. Now this is a beast. This is quite a large joystick. It has quite a large base, and it's definitely got a bit of weight to it. It's got the support holes at the bottom, but I can tell you right now, it doesn't need them. There is nothing I could do that would make this fall over, I don't think. Not in any normal style of play. Have a look, see at the buttons here. You can see we've got, I don't know if that's a button or not. Now I may miss some buttons out here, but in the proper review I'll obviously go over everything. I like this design. It's like an F18 almost sort of design. I mean, it's not. It's completely unique. We've got a trigger here which has got a trigger and an under trigger. I'm not quite sure what difference that is going to make to anything. And you can see a trigger there or a trigger there. I'm not sure, because there's definitely a pronounced click and you click that out. I'm not entirely sure what difference that's going to make to things, but so we've got a power button here. We've also got, I think these are mode buttons, so BVR, nav and Viz. That's the three items there, BVR, nav and Viz. So I'll be interested to see what that does. There's a nice sort of finger rest. It's very ergonomic. Feels very light. Very, very light. The joystick, the base is very heavy, but the joystick itself feels very light. Having said that, it feels robust enough to last. I'm not sure if that's a plastic strut there. That could potentially be a problem. If it ever got dropped or whacked excessively hard, perhaps, then you might have some issues. We've got the 8-way hat switch there, another 8-way hat switch there. Fire button, that one that I've already spoken about. We've got the, again, a very, very smooth throttle control element here, which is awesome. And other than that, not much to speak about. We do have, down the bottom here, oh, I see. So that could be like the bomb switch with a, it's a bit gimmicky. Not sure if I can get that on camera. It's a bit gimmicky. That's sort of protectively off, but you pull it up and then you've got a little finger trigger there to drop the bombs perhaps. Just drop it down just to make sure you don't accidentally drop any bombs on any civilians or whatever. But yeah, good solid click on that. I wouldn't say solid, but it's a good click nonetheless. Good click on the buttons. This feels very robust. I don't think there's going to be any problems with that at all. Clicks into place very well. Hat switch feels good. Now you'll notice that the grip shift here, now this is important I suppose. Two things. One, that feels very, very loose. Very loose. Until I get that onto a system, I don't know how well that's going to behave. But also, when I'm doing that, you'll notice that the base doesn't move. It stays absolutely solid. No problem whatsoever. Having said that, when you're trying to press this button over here, you can see it's engaging that twist. There, not so much. That's okay, but this one, because you're having to cross your thumb over so far to get to it, it is causing a bit of right rudder, I guess you could say. Now, there doesn't appear to be any way to lock the rudder off. I don't see any buttons or issues or anything. So that might just be something that you end up unbinding because it becomes an irritation. I don't know until I try it out. These are just first thought assumptions. So, yeah. It feels pretty good. For 150 quid, I think you'd be quite happy with that. In fact, I think you'd be very happy with that. Unfortunately, it's not Xbox compatible, it's PC only. Very heavy base. And it seems to return the centre okay. It does rattle a little bit if you watch. There's a bit of wibble wobble in there, but it does eventually seem to centralise quite well. And again, we've got the fixed cable. Now, I'm sure this is a very, very good cable. It looks braided, which is great, but I come back to the fact that if it ever got broken, the system is wasted. And again, yeah, potentially, I mean, this base is so big that there were the potential for extra buttons and stuff. And that's kind of what we're going to come to on the Mach 2. There's also this nice hand rest here as well. Now, it's not ergonomic because you can't swap this over for a left-handed joystick or anything. I mean, I'm holding it left-handed here in this review, but actually, theoretically, oh, actually, yeah, in a right-hand configuration, that button press is far less of a problem. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, pretty good overall, pretty good. Finally, we've got the Mach 2 variant. So the Mach 2, you'll notice, let me just put this alongside to compare, has a far, far smaller base than its bigger brother. This is big and heavy, this is small and light. And I feel like there's going to be movement. This one, no movement whatsoever. This, much lighter, slides about a lot. And underneath there are some, oh, hang on. So just here, I'm really struggling to get hold of this, but just here we have a plastic covering. Oh my god, that's not easy to get a hold of. Make sure I get those in the bin. How does that feel now? That is much better. Okay, that has dramatically improved that little problem. I'm glad. In fact, it's almost like a suction pad to the desk. That is very cool. Okay, let's do a quick comparison of the two. So you can see that the design on this one is vastly different to the design on this one. This one kind of almost feels like it's missing some stuff. So you've got the button on the top, you've got the hat switch, you've got a trigger which again has that protective, again it's a bit gimmicky, this kind of flicks round, and yeah, there's a potential there for that to break. It's caught badly, I suppose. I'm not sure if you can press that button with it there. So there's a click on the system, so if I spin that around, you can see it's got a nice detail on there. It's a good grip. But underneath you can see there's like a metal connector for both. Difficult to get the camera on it, but yeah, that just clips down. Slightly magnetic perhaps, and that locks in place. And there's a little finger button at the bottom here, different to the Mach 1 version, which has this safety catch system, which potentially again is an area that could break. That doesn't exist on the Mach 2, so it's just a button. But we have an awful lot. We have a dedicated eject button, which if I can get it at the top here, you can see the dedicated eject button. We've got a dedicated start button. But much more than that, we have multiple buttons now. This is much better utilized. I say the buttons feel pretty good actually. Not premium, I wouldn't say, but very, very decent. And then you've got the mode selector here, and there's some LED lights indicate which mode you're in. You actually get double the amount of buttons, which is nice. You've got the flap options here, and again the throttle, which feels very similar to the Mach 1, I've got to say. So yeah, pretty good. I think the Mach 2 slightly quicker to return to center, slightly more robust in that sense. And yes, the good news is that now that I've taken those plastic sleeves off, that is not moving around at all. So this is really good. This is sort of sleeker, more unique design. Part of me feels like I want to take this element of this one and put it on this one, but unfortunately that's not the case. So anyway, I'm going to have to try these out and see how they all work together. Just reach back, grab the throttle as well, see all three parts together. My gimbal stops being an arse. And yeah, we can definitely see what they're all about, and they look pretty good to me. Quite impressed, especially for the price point. Okay,